Since you're tuning in, I am guessing that you already know that Disney has made a live-action remake of the 1989 animated classic, The Little Mermaid. But if you've been disconnected from social media or you just haven't been interested in the drama, you may not be aware of the controversy that surrounds nearly every aspect of this movie. Hello, and welcome to my first video on my channel. I'm Heather Marie. Thanks for stopping by. So let's see what people on Facebook are feeling in the comment sections. Now, these public comments were found in response to two different articles written about the lyric change to an original song called Kiss the Girl. The two articles will be linked in the comments in case you'd like to read them yourselves. Want to know more about those lyric changes? Well, keep watching because I'll be sharing the old lyrics and the new lyrics. But first, here are those comments people shared about the movie. It's not really the Little Mermaid anymore, laughing emoji. All the changes they have made between the story, characters, songs, the whole plot is different. They should have just made a new movie and named it something else. Then they would have been fine. She wanted him to kiss her. WTF. Force himself on her? She's there for the kiss. She got legs for the kiss. May as well drop the little and call it the mermaid because short people are going to be offended. That one's kind of funny. Okay. People need to get a life. Bruh. Laughing face 3 times. 3 laughing faces here. Then they say, I can't with society anymore. I'm going to just stick to the old films. It's not even about race. My beef is Disney is trying to change stuff and they think it fixes the world's problems. Oh please, nothing offensive about original songs. Why though? In the original, Ariel was the one making passes, so it was pretty clear that she was giving consent. It was a cool song in original the way it was, but to each their own. Different generations prefer different styles. In the end, there really shouldn't be any soreness over it. Those who prefer the old one, watch that, and same with those who prefer the new. I guess that would just be too simple. Shrug. Imagine being a whole adult and angry about changes made to a cartoon you haven't watched in over 30 years. I just ask that when you watch this video, you try to view it with an open mind and maybe try to have some empathy for those who have had different life experiences than what you've been through. Also, trigger warning for survivors of sexual abuse and assault. I do discuss the topic. So there are many things we could discuss regarding people's feelings towards this film, but here's a list of what we're not going to dive into today. I don't want to talk about the new Ariel looking different than the original cartoon version. I don't want to discuss how Flounder looks too realistic. I don't want to talk about Ariel's sisters' names and how they were changed. And you know what? I am certain that there are even more issues to be had with this live-action remake that I didn't list. But today, I want to focus on a specific change to the classic song track that has people giving their opinions, and that is a very specific change to some classic lyrics. So what's the point of the lyric change and what exactly was changed? The article from Classic FM written by Sophia Alexandra Hall had this to say. So Alan Menken, I believe is how you say his name, who is also working on the 2023 remake alongside star composer Lin-Manuel Miranda, told Vanity Fair, there are some lyric changes in Kiss the Girl because people have gotten very sensitive about the idea that Prince Eric would in any way force himself on Ariel. She continues by writing, Hollywood's attitudes towards consent have changed rapidly since 1989, not least due to the Me Too movement, which sparked conversations across the industry in the early 2000s. The original lyrics in Kiss the Girl include the line, yes, you want her, look at her, you know you do. Possible she wants you to, there is one way to ask her. It don't take a word, not a single word, go on and kiss the girl. The suggestion that Eric doesn't need to ask Ariel if she would like to be kissed is perhaps what Menken is referencing when he says that today's audiences are more sensitive to the intentions of the young prince in this iconic scene. So that's the end of the article. After reading through the article, what are your thoughts? Is it pandering to the far left? Here are some comments about these lyric changes. Yeah, I'll just stick with the OG one. Go woke, go broke. I'm sorry, but why does this woke group have so much power? Let's take it back from these trolls. OMG, these liberals never cease to amaze me, shaking my head. Woke, I'll pass on this movie. Go woke, go broke. Woken it up even more. Or is the lyric change about today's society being overly sensitive? And here are the comments about oversensitivity in our society. Wow, our country is so weak these days. Pansies. This generation is doomed, too sensitive. People need to stop being a bunch of pansies. OMG, people get their panties in a knot over the silliest things. Grow up. Back then, there were no diva snowflakes. Half the country is all sissified now. And I'd really like to highlight the reply to this next comment. So here's the comment. People are way too sensitive, period. It was never non-consensual or R-wordy. Why does everyone have to make everything into something it's not? Just leave well enough alone, for goodness sakes. And here's that reply that I really wanted to highlight. What's the downside to making a subtle change to the lyrics to clearly establish consent? Now, I had to continue my search online to find the actual lyrics that were changed, and I found them on this site called Hidden Remote. I believe it's hiddenremote.com, and they said that the lyric change is as follows. Possible she wants you to use your words, boy, and ask her. If the time is right and the time is tonight, go on and kiss the girl. And there was the side-by-side of the lyric comparisons. So now I would like to offer my perspective on the lyric change. A few months ago, I watched the classic 1989 version of The Little Mermaid with my 2 children. Now, I haven't watched it in at least 20 years, I'd say. And as a kid, The Little Mermaid was my absolute favorite. I was 4 when it came out, and I loved musicals, and I sang Kiss the Girl all the time, along with so many other Disney classics. Well, guess what? I gotta admit that now as an adult and as a survivor of sexual assault, I did notice the lyrics that Sebastian was singing. They definitely stood out to me as one of those sensitive people. I wasn't offended though. I wasn't appalled. And even though people may assume this, I didn't get upset. And I didn't turn off the movie just because of the opinion that I'm expressing here today. But bear with me for a moment. Now, I'm just thinking out loud here. It does make me wonder how these lyrics, the original ones, affected the young boys and girls who were also singing the lyrics without even putting a second thought into what they were saying and what they were putting into their minds for all these years. So where is the problem with switching up what our children are singing if it can have a positive impact on future generations? This minute change isn't hurting anyone. It isn't even threatening anyone. We already know that consent is a real issue in the world. It is a real thing. The Me Too movement gave rise to a new way of perceiving Hollywood. We were no longer blind and ignorant to the atrocities that were going on in secret within that community. But guess what? Even though may be unpleasant to discuss and hard to hear, and even taboo to talk about out in the open, something needs to change. By today's standards, SA survivors should just hide away in secret and wallow in our shame and memories and fear. And I gotta say that it seems that people who don't understand act as though we should accept that we may have lost our voice and ourselves and our purpose. And they think that we should continue to be small so that they can be comfortable and feel big. I don't know if that makes sense. And as a woman, I am unfortunately a part of the statistic of about 1 in 3 women in the United States who experience sexual violence in their lifetime. Now, I say about 1 in 3 because different sites that I found list different statistics. So yeah, I have some feelings, and yes, I have some sensitivity to the thought that our youth subconsciously thinking that it don't take a word, not a single word, to kiss the girl, to make a move on a girl who may not want the advances. I wholeheartedly believe that teaching them to use their words to determine consent is beneficial to future generations exposed to this song. There are so many subliminal things happening here that people are not even considering. Why are we not contemplating the way these words can affect our youth? If boys learn, even if he's unaware that he's learning it, it don't take a word, not a single word, go on and kiss the girl, are we not possibly continuing the cycle of sexual abuse being okay on a subconscious level, such as teaching our sons that it is okay to kiss the girl without asking, without consent? And maybe they aren't being taught that taking advantage of another human being is okay, but maybe instead it's more about what is not being said and maybe even omitted due to the discomfort around the topic of non-consensual sex. And it makes me wonder, are conversations on the importance of sexual consent even happening with our youth in our homes across our country? So maybe to some I'm reaching, but due to what I've endured, I see it differently. I also know I'm not the only one who feels this way. I'm in a world where I have to teach my daughters to watch their backs constantly, to be aware of their surroundings, to trust their gut and intuition, because we can't trust others to keep their hands and evil intentions to themselves. Why can't we adapt our conversations to include raising our boys to respect women beyond just being respectful through acts of chivalry, to also respect the word no, to understand that no indeed means no in every situation, to understand that to violate another person is beyond disrespectful, it's wrong, and it's criminal. And now I just want to highlight this comment and talk about it for a second. So the comment says, why though? In the original, Ariel was the one making passes, so it was pretty clear that she was giving consent. Of course, we as adults with life experience understand that the silly kiss Ariel longs for is consensual. We know that Eric needs to kiss Ariel within 3 days so that she can keep her legs. Yes, we adults are aware that Ariel knows it's consensual and that she wants the kiss, okay? But is the movie really made for us, or is it made for our kids? And they don't read into every little thing like we do. They take it at face value and absorb the content. The content can be flawed. We know this. And here's the thing. Even with these new lyrics, the kiss is still trying to be achieved. Ariel's animal friends are still desperately trying to get Eric to kiss her during the song, but the words are slightly different. And you know what? The word change really shouldn't be a big enough deal to cause so much outrage and negativity towards something that is ultimately so positive and good. And maybe I'm being dramatic. Heck, maybe I am being overly sensitive. But here's a fact, and it's going to be a little uncomfortable. The site called planstreetinc.com gives some fast facts, and it says that every 68 seconds an American is SA'd. So let me say that again for the people in the back. Every 68 seconds an American is sexually assaulted. It is every 1 minute and 8 seconds. And with such a vile action, a life is changed, and a fellow human being has to relearn how to live with the horrible memories that haunt them. The problem is real. The problem is massive, and it affects an absolutely staggering number of lives. The trauma and effects of living with the memories of such a thing like never leaves the person who had to endure it, even after their body is healed. Not to mention that there are serious mental effects like post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, and even the desire to experience unaliving. And honestly, that is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to overcoming the life-changing effects of being. The way I see it, making a small yet impactful change in the lyrics of a song, which fills the hearts and minds of our children, shouldn't be such an issue. And it definitely shouldn't be put down and viewed as a bad thing. So do you think that it's just words, so who cares? Or do you, like me, also feel that the lyric change is so much more than just being overly sensitive, woke, or pandering? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, so please leave a comment below. But when leaving a comment, I just ask that you please be kind and refrain from showing hate towards anyone who has a different opinion than you. My hope is that expressing my thoughts will help show a different side to this lyric change that isn't being talked about by those who have been affected by non-consent. And if you've experienced the traumas I've mentioned throughout this video, I just gotta say that you are so strong for still being here on this earth. I know it's so hard. I see you, I believe you, I feel your pain. So let's rise from the ashes together and let's take ourselves back. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.